Liverpool, are you happy with your business so far as a Liverpool fan? Genuinely?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect us. We sort of knew McAllister was going to happen, then Szoboszlai is a really big signing. But for me, I'm just happy that we're actually, this is a real change from what we've seen in years gone by, where the big issue I've always had with us is we keep hold of players for too long. We're too sentimental. If this was last year or something, Fabinho would probably still be at the club. Henderson would definitely still be at the club. We'd be rejecting their offers. Now we're looking at it, and I'm potentially seeing Fabinho gone, which is a big thing. I'm also one of the ones who's behind that move because we are never seeing £40 million again for Fabinho. If he has another season like last season, we're lucky to get 20. So I think it's a smart thing to do to cash out now. And with Henderson, really good move to get him off the books. We just need to nail the replacements for them. Romeo Lavia, I know we're and ahhing about the price, 50 million, but I look at that and I look at Caicedo, who could go for 100, and I sit there and go, Romeo Lavia is probably a better deal. The gap in quality between Lavia and Caicedo is not worth double the price, for me anyway. So I don't know why we're and ahhing over that one. The rest of them, maybe we get involved in the Caicedo deal. Maybe there's, as long as it's not Calvin Phillips, basically. Go get me two other midfielders, but as long as none of them are Calvin Phillips or Ryan Gravenberch or whoever else was mentioned.
I've read rumours today that Chelsea could be reporting Liverpool, along with Brighton, to the FA for the way you've been tapping up Levi Colwell. I heard you guys could be in a little bit of trouble as well, Liverpool.
I mean, last time we tried to tap up a centre-back and it went wrong, it ended up being all right for us. Virgil van Dijk came in, he's done all right. So the transfer strategy's worked in the past, that's all I can say. But it's been a weird window is what I'll say. It's been a very, very weird window to have that happen as well.
I want to ask the panel this question. If Liverpool allow Fabinho and Henderson to go, let's just say it feels the most likely incoming maybe Lavia. Are they going to lack experience in the midfield next season to win the Premier League? Because as far as I'm concerned, Liverpool fans might not like hearing this, but if Liverpool don't win the league, it's failure in terms of their Premier League campaign. Is that a good enough midfield to surpass this Man City team?
To be honest, it all depends on who they bring in. I know they're trying to bring in Lavia, and when I had this conversation with Mons and Jerry a few weeks ago, I said the players I would get rid of is Thiago because he's never available, and Henderson, the ability is not there anymore. Fabinho, I said I would keep to bed Lavia in, because Lavia obviously is good, but he's not a seasoned pro. Do you know what I mean? He only had one season in the Prem. Prior to that, he was playing under 23 football. So for me, I would have kept Fabinho and then kept him for probably another season. So it's like an easy handover for Lavia. But if you're getting rid of him and Henderson, keeping Thiago, he's never fit, you're lacking quite a bit of experience in that midfield. I get what you're saying, Tom, in terms of Fabinho, like you're not going to get that sort of money again. But if I had to pick out of those three midfielders, I would have probably got rid of Henderson and Thiago before him. Only because he's still been playing. And like I said, it's more of a natural handover for Lavia. Do you know what I mean? Giving Lavia that responsibility.
Yeah, 100%. I was one of the ones who wanted to see Thiago go because I'm sick of the constant little injury problems that we have and the idea that we need to build a team around him to get 20 games out of him a season. I disagree with. But in the same breath, £40 million for Fabinho with the way this club is ran, and that's why I have to base it on the way this club runs itself. £40 million for Fabinho could fund minimum one transfer, maybe even partly fund two, which is going to go a long way than what one more year of Fabinho is going to do for us. I think there's concerns about the experience, which are completely fine, but I'm one of the ones who doesn't believe we're going to win the league next year anyway. I still think City are going to be too strong. So my focus is on, am I going to be able to build a squad next year that can compete in the Europa League, win me the Europa League, can win me a domestic cup, and then by the time we get to 24, 25, are in a position with experience and depth to be ready to be favourites for that league title, because that's what we need to be if we're not winning it next year.
I get the argument that if you get rid of Fabinho, then you're gonna have a little bit of experience left in the team. But just because you've signed a lot of young players doesn't mean that they don't have experience. We have to remember you signed a World Cup winner, so there is still some experience in that midfield. But yeah, I hear the argument that Fabinho would be a real loss of experience in the midfield. But I don't think Liverpool right now, especially a lot of Liverpool fans, are expecting to go into next season. The target is to win the Premier League. So I think what they have right now is enough to, a few more transfers, and what they have is enough to get what they want from the season next season.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you don't want to waste another season of Salah's not getting any younger. Do you know what I mean? Last season he had a good season in terms of output. So I don't think Liverpool are far off challenging. In all honesty, it's all about who they get in to replace Fabinho. If you, for example, brought in a Paulinho, I would say he would be a like-for-like replacement in terms of experience, physicality. He had a better season than Lavia last season as well. So it's all about who you bring in to replace. Like, if you want to get rid of Fabinho, cool. But Lavia, I don't know if he's going to be that guy to, he's just not, he's not as experienced as like a Paulinho, for example.
My issue with the experience thing, it comes down to like semantics, really. It does come down to that. I look at it and I go, because I've had this debate with Caicedo as well. People sit there and try and tell me that Romeo Lavia is inexperienced, but Caicedo is experienced enough to lead a team. Be the lone six in a team that wants to win titles, and then you look at these stats, and Caicedo's played 15 games more at this level than Lavia. Palhinha's played 6 more. Like, Palhinha's got a lot more years behind him, but they were in the Portuguese league, so how much weight do you want to put on those? Is it going to apply for when you're in title challenge games against the likes of Manchester City and that? I look at it and I go, if we get Palhinha, we're probably in a better position to challenge for next season because of the age and everything, if people want to run with that. But you look at that then and go, you're just going to have to go readdress that issue in 2 to 3 years' time. You're just kicking the can down the road. Whereas the way I look at it, I go, if I can nail getting Lavia, getting Thuram, and maybe even pushing the boat out and getting one more in preparation for when Thiago goes next summer, I've secured my midfield for 5 years and I don't need to touch it again because we do not deal well when it comes to the midfield. We waited 3 years to make one midfield signing.
Now, for me, all these Europa League signings, it's not going to bring Liverpool back to the promised land. I have to be honest. The names I'm hearing, all these sort of rumours, like, for me, I respect Liverpool a lot. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I have the biggest respect for Liverpool. But when I saw the Fabinho links to leaving Liverpool, that was the nail in the coffin for me. For me, that sort of highlighted the end of an era. And I'm not saying that to dig at Liverpool, but I just feel like your board don't back you guys enough. And to replace Fabinho with guys like Lavia and Paulinho, who aren't even half of his physique, can't hold that midfield down like Fabinho. It's not going to be what it was. Yeah, it's not going to be what it was done, man. It's not.
Oh no,
Paulinho's good on the ball. He's a very good player. He's a very good player on the ball, but I'm talking about that physicality. The way
Tom, remind him who you played last season, the first game, who you played against in that midfield.
Oh, Joao Palhinha dominated us like we hadn't been dominated in a long time. The thing is with Fabinho, I understand the worries.
Yeah, but last season he had a bad season though.
But that's my thing. It was a bad season last season, but it wasn't a bad season in terms of it wasn't a bad season where you knew it was form. It was a bad season where there's concerns about, is this a long-term thing for Fabinho? Because everything was just individual. It was all he was a yard slow to everything. His passes were straight. His mentality wasn't there. And if he could, we're not replacing prime Fabinho. This is the thing I've been saying. We're not replacing prime Fabinho. We have. If you go look into the stats of how we've used Fabinho, honest to God, I feel sorry for the man. I think he done 3 years, missing only 2 games, starting every other one pretty much. He had to do a job at centre back for half a season. We've ran that man into the ground in one of the most, demanding and taxing positions in world football. Right now is the best time to sell because we're not selling prime Fabinho and we're not needing to replace prime Fabinho. We're needing to replace a Fabinho last season that wasn't even better than an 18-year-old centre-back who was put in that position.
Yeah, but from a Liverpool fan's perspective, if I was to just ask you quick here, after the consistency that Fabinho's given you, are you actually ready to sell him off the back of one poor season?
Yes, because we've been bitten too many times by this thing of we often do this thing where we keep hold of players too long, and we've done that with Henderson. Look at his midfield partner Henderson. We've done the same thing. We could have very easily just kept Fabinho. He's tied down till 2027. It wouldn't have surprised me if he'd stayed till 2027, being 33. And if he hadn't been performing for the past 2-3 years, it wouldn't matter because he'd be kept round. This is a change in the right direction. The top clubs are ruthless. Pep Guardiola will get rid of these players when he sees it happening. Is Fabinho almost made a little bit of a scapegoat because it's his first year and there's been bigger ones in the past? Probably it's a little bit harsh on Fabinho, but that's football, unfortunately. Don't feel sorry for him. He's going to get paid a load of money out in Saudi Arabia. He can go live his best life out there. We just need to make sure we get our replacement right.
That's the main thing. It's all about the replacement.
Jermaine, let me ask you a question. You said something earlier on that
Yeah.
these Europa League signings. So you look at McAllister and Slobostar, you don't think they're kind of Premier League, Champions League level players when you say that?
No, you know, it is from an Arsenal fan's perspective. After, let's say, being in the mud for all these years, we've gone into this summer and I'm seeing Declan Rice, main Premier League proven, Kai Havertz, Chelsea Premier League proven. And all these sort of links and namings and people are linked to. Then I saw a few things on the Liverpool point of view, and I'm seeing all this Thuram, guys that half their fan base haven't seen play, if we're being honest. Like, I know guys want to act like football experts on Twitter, but we don't really watch these guys on a day-to-day basis. So when I saw the fall off in terms of caliber of signings, I was thinking, yeah, man, this is Liverpool's. They're about to go a bit back. Not to get Liverpool fans angry or anything. I'm not a Liverpool fan hater. I love Liverpool. Like, I don't love Liverpool, but I have respect for Liverpool in it. But I just saw the links to the guys you guys were signed with. I don't watch them on a day-to-day basis. I don't know if you guys watch Liga R or Bundesliga, but I personally don't. So I just thought they're easier targets, easier transfers to do. Like McAllister, like what was that guy's name? McAllister, was it? Yeah, that was what, like 30 million. It's not the hardest deal to do. Meanwhile, I'm seeing Arsenal. That's a top player, but just to compare it to my club where I'm seeing 100 mil, 60 mil, I'm thinking, wow, like Arsenal, we're doing big Champions League signings.
In the same breath,
Arsenal moving different now.
It might be different. It might be different, but I'd rather have McAllister for 35 than Kai Havertz for 65, based on.
Yeah, but McAllister, we have Martin Odegaard, so we're not interested in.
So where's Kai Havertz going to play?
He can be part of the squad. He can play number 8. He can play wherever he wants.
So you spent 65 million pounds on a bench warmer,
exactly,
to sit behind Jesus and Odegaard.
Exactly. We're not bothered anymore. We've been
But
seeing.
you have to take into account what Arsenal are. You have to take into account
we're doing so well. Where me personally, I'm not even bothered because if Partey stays, I'm playing Partey, Rice, and Odegaard anyway. So whether Havertz was 1p, 100p, I'm not really too fussed. It's just more squad depth. I'm tired.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the thing,
Don's a Chelsea hater who's about to tell us about why Havertz saying all that. But
I'm not going to talk about Havertz. We've spoken about him a million times, yeah. But back to Liverpool. to take it back a little bit. Liverpool, we know how their owners, run their club. They're not going to splash 105 million on a Declan Rice. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to spend 90 million on a Casado. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So Liverpool were always going to shop in that market, right? And just because we don't watch these players doesn't mean that they haven't got scouts that can go out there and identify players that are actually going to fit, Klopp's system. It's not every manager that goes into the Prem and shops in the Prem. Sometimes you have to go outside of the league and find players outside the league that fit the system. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't agree with that with what he said, Tom, because I think Liverpool were always gonna go down that route. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool haven't got they're a rich club, but their owners aren't going to go spend 105 million on Declan Rice.
It's not about the money, bro. We saw Thiago for free. Like, guys see what Liverpool are on and go that way, bro.
Yeah, but who would you? Okay, so then who would you say Liverpool could realistically go and buy then? That you would say is of Champions League level, realistically in this market.
I don't know. I'm not the scout, but I know if Liverpool were doing well and doing their business, players will go in that direction. But right now we're seeing guys like Declan Rice wouldn't even look at Arsenal 2 years ago. Wouldn't even look at us. He's even calling. I think him and Arteta were having dinner together, mate. It's all looking rosy over these sides.
Yeah, but that's you, Tom. I'll let you back your club. I'll let you defend your club.
It's just I don't think this type of sign. We've had success with these signs in the past, though. This is where our success is. I don't see the point in celebrating spending 65 million pounds on a player when I could get 2 players for 30 to 35 who I think would be a better fit. If I was to push it onto Arsenal, I could say that yes, Romeo Lavia might not be ready, and that was a point you made. Romeo Lavia isn't the big names, but I swear Mikel Arteta wants him to replace Partey if he goes.
No, what you said is true because you guys didn't spend fortunes on Mane or Salah and they done the business. So I agree. It's not all about spending the most money, but I'm just saying my honest opinion. When I saw these Liverpool rumours and compared it to the Arsenal transfers, I thought, yeah, man, we swap places.
You're in a different state though. We need our midfield is been crying out for this rebuild or retool for the past 3 years. You just need to add the pieces to, like, you've got everything there. You just need to add the pieces to push it
Liverpool
on.
always
We need to
needed like
rebuild
one
the
midfielder
foundation.
or so, but now I feel like there's more things becoming, like more holes becoming bigger. Like for example, Virgil van Dijk ACL injury. Your front three before it looked your attack used to be probably the best in the world, but now I'm not even too sure. Like there's still Diaz and that probably didn't have his best season, but I think everything's a bit questionable with Liverpool right now. You know what I think it is, yeah, which is what I've been saying to my Liverpool friend. After what was Arsenal's first season at Champions League, 16-17, yeah, you guys came above us by a point, and since that season, you come above us every single season up until last. I feel like roles have now reversed again, where we've come above you unexpectedly, and it's just we're about to just.
So for the next 8 years, Arsenal are going to win a Champions League, a Premier League, 97 points, 99 points, near quadruple. Okay, great. I just can't see it happening because I just, even the years where like
maybe not Champions League, but all the other stuff.
You're good. You're good. I can see that you're good, but this isn't in terms of, you're not going up against a City that there was in the past, but you're going up against a City that I think is the most dangerous it's ever been, especially if they can get this window right. And I know we're going to touch on it later about Kvaratskhelia to Newcastle. That's a deal City should be all over, because him and Haaland would be immense. With us, compared to you, even last season when we were our worst under Klopp for a good number of years, and you were at your best, we still, when it came down to it, gave you the biggest game of your season, arguably.
Yeah, that's because you're better than us. I know Liverpool, like going into last season, Liverpool were meant to challenge.
That gives me the confidence then to say that we're not as far away as people are suggesting, because if that was done with what was an awful team and a system, I think that game against you was the first time we tried Trent in that inverted role. If we're able to get a full pre-season underneath the belt, get all these new signs in like Szoboszlai, McAllister, Lavia, maybe one or two more, add a centre back in, but it's probably not going to be Colwell now. Get them through the door and get them all settled in. I still think that if you were to compare us to Arsenal, we still have the bigger difference makers.
No, I agree. Even in those games where you,
Yeah,
apart from the first 20 minutes against Anfield, you guys battered us. Yeah, but
it's good.
We spent 200 mil. Remember that.
Chelsea spent 600 million, finished 12th. Money spent doesn't matter.
We're going to get into the Arsenal bit a little bit later. There's a super chat here for you, Tom, that says, yo, Tom, do you see Curtis-Dino J as a starter next season?
Probably not, but I do think that if he has a good pre-season, he should definitely be in contention, start the first game, because he's in the best form.